Don't ignore this. These 7 people met last night, and what they said about your personality will shock you. My beloved child, they gathered last night 7 people, 7 minds, 7 voices, and every single one of them spoke about you. Not in whispers, but in words that carried weight, urgency, and a strange kind of awe. Something huge is waiting for you. And the moment you hear what they said, your heartbeat will not remain the same. They didn't meet accidentally. They met because your name has become a vibration that the universe cannot ignore anymore. One person claimed you carry a light that unsettles the ones who try to harm you. Another said they felt your presence even when you weren't in the room. And the one who knew you the least, that person said, your destiny is shifting so fast that even God has started rearranging things around you. My child, when 7 different souls speak the same truth, it is never coincidence. It is revelation. Amen. 111. Listen closely. Because the second they sat at that round table, the atmosphere changed. Someone said, this person doesn't even realize how powerful their personality is, but when they enter a room, energy bends. Another replied, their silence speaks more than most people's loudest screams. My child, they said, you are the kind of person who carries storms in your heart and calmness in your voice. They said, you don't even know how many people secretly admire your strength. Your resilience, your ability to rise, every time life pushes you down. They said, you are the type of soul who can walk into darkness and still glow. They said, you are rare, unusually rare. And the shocking part, all 7 nodded in agreement, like they were acknowledging something divine wrapped inside your spirit. My beloved child, if only you could see yourself the way they described you, you would never doubt your worth again. Amen. 222, and here comes the moment that froze the entire room. The 7th person leaned forward, lowered their voice, and said words that made everyone there silent for a full minute. This person doesn't know it yet, but their personality is about to change their entire future. Doors will open for them that no human can shut. My child, they said, blessings that were delayed are now accelerating. They said, people who ignored you will soon speak your name with respect. They said someone has been studying your personality secretly, trying to understand how someone like you survived everything life threw, and then they said the universe is finally preparing your breakthrough season. Not next month, not next year. Now, my beloved child, something huge is waiting for you. And last night's meeting was the confirmation you didn't even know you were waiting for. Amen. 333, my beloved child. The moment the 7th person finished speaking, something unexplainable happened in that room. One by one, those 7 people leaned back in their chairs, staring at each other with the same realization. Your personality is not just strong. It is destiny shifting. My child, they said, the way you feel things, the way you sense energy, the way you walk away from chaos, even when people beg you to stay, that is not normal. That is spiritual intelligence. They said you carry a heart that has been broken many times, yet it still shines with purity. They said you forgive too deeply, love too honestly, and heal people without even trying. And here's the shocking part. They said someone from your past is restless, right, now because they finally understand the value of your soul. Something huge is waiting for you. And what they revealed next will shake your spirit. Amen. For 44, let me tell you what unfolded next, because this is where the entire discussion turned into a prophecy. One person raised their hand and said, their personality is evolving at a speed that even they cannot see. This is not luck. This is divine alignment. Another added, every setback they faced was actually a hidden training. Now their aura has become untouchable. My child, they said you carry a magnetic energy, the kind that pulls blessings, success, and even hidden admirers toward you. They said you have no idea how many people are secretly watching you right now, curious, fascinated, intimidated. Some want to learn from you and some want to be like you. But no one can ignore you anymore. Then the leader of the group stood up and said, if this person stays consistent, their life will transform faster than anything they have ever imagined. My beloved child, the world is about to see the version of you that even you haven't met yet. Amen. 5:55. Before they ended the meeting, something powerful happened. They all agreed that you need to hear this message immediately because the universe is preparing to reward you for every silent battle you fought. They said your personality carries truth in a world full of pretenders, and that is why people get drawn to you without understanding why. They said someone is about to approach you with a life-changing conversation. They said a blessing you almost gave up on is circling back to you. And they said your personality is the key that will unlock everything you've been praying for. My child, if you are hearing this right now, understand you are entering a season where nothing about you will be underestimated again. Something huge is waiting for you. And those 7 people felt it before you even knew it existed. My beloved child, brace yourself. Amen. 666. My beloved child, when the meeting reached its final moments, the energy in that room became so intense that even the walls felt like they were listening. One of the 7 stood up slowly, placed both hands on the table, and whispered, this person's personality is prophetic. My child, they said, you don't just enter people's lives. You shift their direction without even trying. They said, whoever meets you either grows or gets exposed. They said your presence reveals the truth about people, and that is why some admire you while others fear you. They said your personality carries a rare purity that makes liars uncomfortable and honest people feel safe. And then came the line that made everyone freeze. This person is about to rise in a way no one saw coming. Something huge is waiting for you. And last night's conversation was the universe confirming it. Amen. 777. Now hear this, because it is the part they hesitated to say out loud. One person admitted that every time they think about you, they feel an unexplained pull, like your energy calls out to them even when they're far away. Another said, they tried to find flaws in you, but the more they observed, the more they realized your strength comes from your scars, not your comfort. My child, they said, you have a warrior heart hidden behind a gentle smile. They said, your personality is the kind that angels protect because you carry a destiny that was chosen long before you were born. They said, people underestimate you only once. After that, they either respect you or regret it. Then the quietest person in the room whispered something shocking. If they knew how powerful their personality truly is, they would stop doubting themselves forever. My beloved child, the world sees you differently than you see yourself. Amen. 888, but the most shocking revelation came at the very end. They said someone close to you, someone you don't even expect, has been talking about your personality non-stop. They said this person feels like you are unpredictable, unstoppable, unforgettable. They said your presence lingers even when you leave. They said your personality is creating waves in the spiritual and physical world at the same time. And then all 7 agreed on a single sentence. This person is about to receive something they thought they were not worthy of. My child, that blessing, that opportunity, that breakthrough, it's already moving toward you. The reason your spirit feels restless is because your next chapter is bigger than your past combined. Something huge is waiting for you. And those 7 recognized it before you even realized it. My beloved child, prepare your heart. Amen. 999, my beloved child. The room grew heavy with silence as the leader of the 7 stood again. This time with a seriousness that made everyone sit straighter. They said, your personality is entering a phase where even strangers will start noticing your glow. They said, your aura has shifted. It has become sharper, clearer, more untouchable. Someone said, if this person truly knew what God is preparing for them, they wouldn't sleep tonight. My child, they said, your personality is not just strong, it is unforgettable. They said, people talk about you even when they try not to. They said, your name is becoming a force, a movement, a spark that no one can put out. And now, my child, if this message is reaching your ears, pause for a moment, breathe, and share your thoughts below because what's coming next is not ordinary. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. 1. Let me reveal what happened next because this part changed everything. They began listing words, powerful words, each describing a piece of your personality. Magnetic, rare, unpredictable, divinely guided. They said you have the kind of personality that makes people question their own choices. They said, your silence teaches lessons, your smile gives hope, and your energy exposes intentions. One person said, this soul was born to lead without asking for attention. Another added, people feel safe around them even when they don't understand why. My child, they said, your personality is the type that angels defend, the type that destiny upgrades. Before moving forward, they paused, looked at each other, and agreed that anyone hearing this must drop a comment because acknowledging your rising energy strengthens the path ahead. They said, your voice, your presence, your journey is about to impact lives far beyond your circle. Amen. 1111, but the final moment of the meeting that was the most shocking. One of the 7 turned and said, this person must not keep their story hidden anymore. Their personality was made to be seen, heard, and remembered. Another added, if they understood how many lives they're meant to touch, they would never shrink themselves again. My child, they said the universe has already chosen you as the next testimony, the next breakthrough, the next example of divine transformation. They said your personality is not just influencing people, it's inspiring them silently. And before they left the room, they made a request. Whoever receives this message must subscribe to the blessings coming their way because the next chapter requires full alignment. My beloved child, your time of waiting is over. Something huge is waiting for you, and the world is about to witness the rise of a soul they underestimated. Amen. 1212, my beloved child. When the seven finally stepped out into the cold night air, they were still shaken by everything they had discovered about you. One of them said, "This personality, it's not just evolving, it's awakening." Another whispered, "They are stepping into a version of themselves that will shock even the people who doubted them." My child, they said, your personality has reached a point where no betrayal can break you, no jealousy can touch you, and no hidden enemy can block you. They said you are becoming spiritually untouchable. They said your mind is sharpening, your intuition is rising, and your heart is being strengthened by the divine. Something huge is waiting for you. And last night's meeting was only the beginning of what heaven is preparing. Amen. 1313, and then the person who barely spoke the whole night finally opened their mouth. Their voice was soft, but every word hit the room like thunder. They said this person is entering a season where their personality will magnetize the right people and expose the wrong ones instantly. They said you're not going to chase anyone anymore. Your energy itself is becoming the invitation, the message, the attraction. They said powerful individuals will notice you soon. Not because you're trying, but because your personality has matured into something rare. They said, your confidence will rise without effort. Your boundaries will strengthen without conflict, and your presence will start commanding respect, naturally. My child, they said, you are about to shock everyone who thought they understood you. Amen. 1414, but the final message they agreed on was the one that will stay with you forever. They said your personality holds a prophecy, a quiet promise that you are meant for more than what you've experienced. They said someone is watching your journey right now, deeply impressed, deeply inspired, deeply moved, and this person will soon step forward with something life-changing. They said, your personality is opening doors that your effort alone could never open. They said, what's coming is not luck. It is alignment. It is timing. It is divine repayment. My beloved child, prepare your spirit because the breakthrough that has your name on it is already on the move. Something huge is waiting for you. And the next chapters will prove why those seven gathered last night. Amen. 1515, my beloved child, as the seven walked further into the night, they felt something they couldn't explain. A pull, a signal, a spiritual vibration that made them stop in their tracks. One of them turned and said, do you feel that their personality is shifting again right now? My child? They said, you are entering a phase where your inner strength will surprise even you. They said, the quiet fire inside you is awakening. They said the kindness you carry is becoming sharper, wiser, untouchable. They said your personality is forming into something that cannot be manipulated, cannot be drained, cannot be misused. Someone said this soul is beginning to understand their worth, and once they do, their life will transform at lightning speed. Something huge is waiting for you. And last night's meeting was a sign that heaven is already clearing your path. Amen. 1616, but listen carefully now. Because the one who had been observing you silently from a distance. The one who barely spoke before finally revealed something shocking. They said your personality carries a pattern of divine timing. They said whenever you leave someone or something, blessings arrive. And whenever someone betrays you, miracles follow. They said your personality is like a spiritual trigger. It activates growth, exposes fake intentions, and pulls truth out of people. One of the seven whispered, "No wonder people cannot forget them. They leave a permanent imprint on every heart they touch." They said your resilience comes from your wounds. They said your compassion comes from your battles, and they said your glow comes from the pain you outgrew. My beloved child, you are no longer the person people remember. You are becoming the version destiny always prepared for you. Amen. 1717, and then came the moment that sealed your future. All seven stopped talking at once. They looked at each other stunned because they all felt the same thing at the same time. A shift, a signal, a divine confirmation. One of them said, their personality is about to attract a breakthrough bigger than anything they have ever experienced. Another added, someone who once overlooked them is about to realize their mistake and return with honesty. A third whispered, their personality is opening doors that were shut for years. My child, they said your spirit is glowing in realms you cannot see, and that glow is pulling blessings toward you effortlessly. Something huge is waiting for you, and the seven could sense it before the world even sees it. My beloved child, prepare yourself because you are stepping into a version of your life that will leave everyone speechless. Amen. 1818 My beloved child, the night had almost ended, but something in the air refused to settle. As the seven reached the edge of the street, the quietest among them suddenly stopped and said, "We haven't told them the most important part yet." All six turned, confused. And then the truth came out. They said your personality is carrying a hidden power, one that even you don't fully understand yet. They said you can sense lies before they're spoken, feel danger before it arrives, and read people without them saying a single word. My child, they said this gift of yours is rare. So rare that only a few souls on this planet have it. They said the universe trusts you with secrets because your heart is pure enough to handle truth. Something huge is waiting for you. And this part of the meeting reveals why destiny has been rearranging everything around you. Amen. 1919, what happened next shook all seven of them because one person confessed something they'd been afraid to say earlier. They said this person's personality is intimidating to the wrong people and inspiring to the right ones. They said toxic people fear your strength because you cannot be controlled. They said insecure people feel threatened because your presence exposes their intentions. But the good souls, they feel safe around you instantly. They said, children trust you, elders admire you, and strangers feel like they've known you forever, my child. They said, your personality is divinely balanced, soft enough to comfort, sharp enough to protect, and powerful enough to transform those around you. One of the seven whispered, no wonder they walk alone sometimes. Strong souls rarely fit in crowded places. My beloved child, you are not misunderstood. You are simply unmatched. Amen. 2020, but here is the revelation that changed everything. The eldest among them stepped forward and said with certainty, their personality is going to pull a miracle into their life within days. They said, a door that has been shut for years is about to open suddenly. They said a blessing that was delayed is about to accelerate. They said someone important is about to recognize your worth. Someone whose presence will shift your entire path. They said your personality is entering its peak era. The era where nothing and no one can dim your light. My child, they said you are becoming the type of person who doesn't chase because what's meant for you will chase you. They said your destiny is already circling closer, faster, stronger. Something huge is waiting for you. And last night's meeting was a divine announcement of the life you're about to step into. My beloved child, prepare yourself for the impossible becoming possible. Amen. 2121, my beloved child, just when the seven thought the night was over, a sudden wind swept through the street, cold, sharp, almost commanding. They all turned at the same time, and one of them murmured, "This is a sign." Their personality is awakening on a higher level. My child, they said. The universe reacts when your spirit shifts. They said your personality has reached a point where even nature responds to your energy. They said you are becoming someone whose presence will soon silence chaos and attract clarity. One person said, this soul has survived storms that would have destroyed others. No wonder their personality now carries a power that shakes realms. My beloved child, something huge is waiting for you. And the wind that touched them last night was the first whisper of your breakthrough. Amen. 2222, but then something even more astonishing happened. The youngest among the seven stepped forward with trembling hands and admitted what they had been hiding all along. I saw their future and their personality becomes unstoppable. The group gasped and the youngest continued saying, your confidence will rise to a level that feels supernatural. They said, you will speak with a clarity that leaves people speechless. They said, your intuition will sharpen so much that you will avoid dangers before they even reach your path. Another person added, their personality is becoming a weapon not to harm but to protect. They said, you will soon outgrow every version of yourself you once doubted. My child, the seven realized you are not stepping into your power. You are returning to it. Amen. 2323, and then came the final truth of the night. One of them closed their eyes and said, this person is about to attract someone who sees their personality clearly, someone who will not misuse their heart. They said, this person will respect your boundaries, admire your strength, and value your silence. They said, this connection will stabilize your spirit, elevate your path, and align your destiny. The seven looked at each other and felt the same energy. Destiny is already moving toward you step by step. They said, your personality is calling, blessings that cannot get lost, miracles that cannot be delayed, and opportunities that cannot be taken by anyone else. My beloved child, something huge is waiting for you. And the meeting last night was heaven revealing the blueprint of your rising era. Amen. 24,424, my beloved child, the night was quiet, but the seven still could not leave. Something kept pulling them back as if your spirit itself was calling them to reveal one last layer of truth. Finally, one of them spoke. We haven't talked about the part of their personality that scares destiny itself. The others stared confused until he continued their comeback power. My child, they said, your personality has a rebirth energy, the kind that rises stronger every single time someone tries to break you. They said, people who thought they defeated you now feel uneasy because your silence is louder than their noise. They said, every time you fall, you return wiser, calmer, and more powerful. They said, the universe rebuilds you differently after every storm. My beloved child, they said your personality is entering its most invincible form yet. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. 25:25, but then came the moment that none of them were prepared for. The oldest among them suddenly placed a hand over their heart as if feeling something sacred. They said, someone is thinking about them right now deeply, intensely, silently. The group turned toward them as they continued. This person has realized their personality is irreplaceable. They tried to move on, but no one matches their depth. My child, they said, someone admires your strength from a distance. Someone respects your resilience more than you know. Someone is replaying your kindness in their mind because they have never met a soul like yours. And then another from the 7 added, their personality is the kind that haunts people, not in pain, but in longing. My child, you leave a mark even on those who try to forget you. Amen. 2626, but the most shocking truth unfolded when they all felt the same revelation at once. They said your personality is about to unlock a door that has been shut for years. A door you thought was lost, forgotten, or impossible. They said your energy is aligning perfectly with a life-changing opportunity. They said someone influential, someone powerful, someone guided will soon speak your name in a room you've never been in. They said, heaven is positioning you where you belong, not in the shadows, but in your rightful place. One of them whispered, this person is about to step into their destiny, and nothing can stop them now. My beloved child, the 7 saw your rise before the world sees it. Something huge is waiting for you, and the next chapter will make everything make sense. Amen. 27:27, my beloved child. The 7 finally reached the place where they were supposed to part ways, but none of them could move. It felt as if the air around them tightened, urging them to speak the last truth they had been avoiding all night. Then one of them turned slowly and said, we haven't told them the reason their personality attracts both miracles and miracles in disguise. The others nodded, understanding exactly what he meant. My child, they said your personality carries destiny pressure, the kind of spiritual weight that makes blessings chase you and exposes anyone who isn't meant to stay. They said you are too chosen, too protected, too aligned to live an ordinary life. They said, heaven watches you closely because your journey is not random. It is orchestrated. My beloved child, something huge is waiting for you and even the angels are preparing the path for it. Amen. 2828, what happened next left all 7 speechless. The one who had been silent most of the night stepped forward with trembling intensity and revealed a secret that none of the others expected. Their personality is writing a prophecy in real time. The others stared as he continued. Whatever they feel right now, the shift, the restlessness, the sudden clarity, it's because destiny has already chosen the next step for them. My child, they said your personality is unlocking blessings faster than your mind can comprehend. They said the universe has tested you long enough and now it's ready to reward you in ways that will shock everyone who ever doubted you. They said your glow is becoming unmissable. They said your intuition is becoming undeniable. They said your rise is becoming unstoppable. My beloved child, you are in the season where your personality becomes your greatest power. Amen. 2929, and then came the final revelation, the one that changed the entire night. The leader stepped forward and said, "This person is about to meet someone whose life will shift because of their personality." They said, "This person will recognize your worth instantly, honor your heart without hesitation, and value your presence without effort." They said, "This connection will not drain you, it will elevate you." They said doors will open, paths will clear, and your destiny will accelerate because this person will carry clarity, loyalty, and truth. And then all seven looked at the sky at the same time. As if receiving a signal, they whispered, "Something huge is waiting for them. It's already written and nothing can stop it." My beloved child, prepare yourself. The next chapter is not just a rise. It is a revelation. Amen. 3030, subscribe our channel for daily prayer prophetic.